Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joel with 928 OBS, back at it again. And today I've got a very important video that I think all of you guys, after watching this, should at least go look under the hood of your truck if you haven't done this before, because it's very important. Anyways, stick around and let's get right to it. Okay, so here's the deal. Ford had a really big recall, actually two recalls. That ended up involving over close to 15 million vehicles, including our OBS trucks, F-150s, 250s, Broncos, the F-350s, and many other cars from the 90s and I believe early 2000s. I'm not sure on the dates exactly, but I know that there was a lot of cars. And basically the problem was that the cruise control deactivation switch had, I believe, two problems. One is that it could leak brake fluid, which is very flammable, and it could short out and catch the brake fluid on fire, causing your trucks to burn down. And I've actually seen trucks that have burned down due to that switch, and people have had their garages, their houses, their garages, their trucks, a lot of things burned down. Even some people unfortunately have died due to this failure. So it's something that you have to take very seriously, and you have to make sure that you have it. And like I said, this involved two recalls. They recalled the original switch, and then they recalled the recall on the switch, which is what I have. I have the recall of the recall on this truck, and according to the Ford guys, this is the final product. So I'll leave a link to it, but that's the part numbers you're looking for right there. And it should be a fairly simple fix to this thing. I found out about this a while ago, and I actually saw a video from another great OBS guy here on YouTube. He actually has an F-150, but it's super clean. He is the original owner to it, and he rebuilt it from the bottom up, from the ground up. And I've seen his entire series on rebuilding that truck, and it's pretty awesome. You should go check him out. It's the Fox Shop. He has really good content. I believe right now he's working on a Bronco, and I really like the way that guy works. I wish that I could work on this thing like he does. Do the whole body work to it and everything. But that's something for another video. Anyways, go check him out. Like I said, I watched the video for that originally from him a couple of years ago. It just took me this long to get to it. But definitely, don't take it lightly. Don't do what I do. After you watch this video, go and check under your hood. And basically, if your switch doesn't look like this, if it's not black, and actually let's go under the hood so we can actually see what it looks like. So like I said, this was already the recalled item. This wasn't the original one, but like I said, this one also failed. And as you can see, it's the brown top, blue tag, and it's got a couple fuses on it. Now the one that I got has no fuses. It's just the pigtail, the switch sensor, whatever, and then the little pigtail. So hopefully they got it right, because there's no fuses on it anymore. And it should be a fairly simple process. You just gotta take this one out, which I believe is a 9/16 wrench, put the new one on with the 7/8 wrench, plug it in, and we should be good to go. Another thing that this might be causing too is your cruise control not working. So if your cruise control isn't working, this might be one of the first things you want to check to make sure that you have the correct switch on here. So anyways, let's get right to it. Okay, so now we're gonna start by undoing this sensor. Okay, something just flew out of here. It was just a little gasket, which we won't be needing any of this anymore. But anyways, we're gonna unhook this, and then I'm gonna pretty much take the entire harness out. So take this big thing out, and then we'll take a look at it once it's out, and we'll unplug it from its connector. There we go. All right, so again, this I believe was the original recall. There's actually been several recalls to this. I think the first one only had one fuse. This one has two fuses. So, but all I know is that this is the latest version of this recall. And if you go to your Ford dealer, this is what you're gonna get. Now, from what I've seen and from what the guy at the Ford store told me, it's just a fairly simple job. You just got to take the old one out, take the new one out, make sure you don't drop a lot of brake fluid, be quick about it, make sure nothing, no dust or nothing goes in to the either the switch or your master cylinder. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is put some towels under this just to catch any brake fluid that might come out. Nothing crazy. We're gonna go ahead and open up the new one. I'll show you the part number again, and I'll leave a link to it down in the description and in the comments for you guys to check this out. So here is the actual switch. You know, nothing fancy, nothing special. And like I said, there shouldn't be that much to it. So we're gonna take our 9/16, take the old one out. I'm gonna get this one ready. And there is that. And we only lost a couple drops of brake fluid. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our 7/8 and don't crank on this, you know, like crazy. It doesn't really need that. Just has to be snug in there. And now we're just gonna go ahead and replace the harness. Don't drop it. So the yellow part goes to the actual sensor, and the other end goes, well, to the other end. All right, everything's connected nice and tightly, and we're gonna use our supplied zip tie to zip tie this thing. There's really not a lot of places to zip tie it to, so I guess we'll just zip tie these two wires together. All right, clip the tail off. And there you go. So again, if your cruise control switch doesn't look like this, really consider replacing it, because I believe this was actually the largest recall that Ford has had. Like I said, it involved almost 15 million cars and trucks and vehicles, I guess. Since I believe the late 90s is when this recall first started. And like I said, there's been now a recall on top of the recall on top of the recall. I don't know how many recalls there's been over this one part. So hopefully, I mean, this wasn't giving me any problems, so hopefully this, you know, stays that way. Everything, you know, yeah, everything's good. There should be an actual procedure to all this. I couldn't find it. Whenever you look this up, all you can find is just news articles of the actual recall, you know, trucks, houses catching on fire and stuff like that. So it's very serious, and I think it was kind of foolish for me to let this go for as long as I did, because even a few of you guys actually caught it on some previous videos and let me know about it, but I just kept, you know, putting it off or forgetting about it. But I actually finally did it. Hopefully this will make me feel a little bit better. And before you get done, just make sure that you clean up any brake fluid that might have spilled on you. Not a lot should spill. Like I said, I only spilled maybe a couple drops, which mainly came out of this thing. That is it for this thing. Again, like I said, very simple. Only takes a couple hand tools. Nothing really crazy. And like I said, there's an actual procedure to this recall, but like I said, from the guy at the dealer, that should do it. You know, as long as you don't lose a fair amount of brake fluid or anything like that, you should be fine. And now we're gonna take this thing for a little test drive, make sure that it drives good, make sure that the brakes feel good, that nothing catches on fire, yeah, and we'll be done. Let's go for a quick drive. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't get tired of that turbo. Sounds so good. Talking about the video that I was mentioning from the Fox shop, like I said, he's got an F-150,
and I can't recall off the top of my head if it's a 5.8 or a 5.0. But I was just looking at it before I made my video, just kind of, you know, for reference, to make sure that I was doing everything good. And man, that thing sounds really good. I actually forgot how good a gas engine sounds. Like, I know I love my diesel, I love the way it sounds, I love the turbo, but you gotta admit, a V8 sounds hella good. Like a gas V8 sounds really good, and it's really making me want to, you know, down the line have another project, you know, rebuild a 5.8, maybe do like a 408 stroker. That'd be pretty mean. What do you guys think? Would you like to see that in the channel? I think, you know, maybe do like an off-road build, like a camping rig, or, you know, something of that sort. I think that'd be really cool. I love going off-road, and trust me, I'll take this thing off-road. But the problem with this thing is that the suspension is so damn stiff on it, which, you know, it should be. It's, you know, it's a one-ton truck, you know, it's not meant for it's not necessarily meant for going off-road, you know, for off-roading. It's meant for hauling. So whenever you go off-road, even though I air down my tires to about 25 psi, it is still so damn stiff. Especially like on those, like, you know, like washboard roads. You know, this thing will even kind of, you know, like bounce all over the road, and it gets kind of scary. Now, over time, I figured out that if you go about 45 miles an hour, you'll kind of just float over all those little bumps, and, you know, it's not that bad. But it's still not very enjoyable. So I think it'd be super cool to build like a Bronco or an F-150. See what I mean? This is just, you know, a normal road, and you're just bouncing all over the place. But anyways, you know, yeah, you know, build a cool off-road truck with the 5.8. I want to do that. I think, you know, eventually there's going to be one of the projects, you know, down the line. Now, as far as our fix, everything's still working good. Still have brakes. Here in a little bit, we'll try the cruise control and see if that fixed anything. I doubt it, but, you know, it'd be nice if it did. Yeah, no cruise control. It's all good though. I don't really need it. Right here, so I don't want to step on it too much. Man, I really love this thing, you know. Like, I've always liked it, even before I did, you know, my whole rebuild. Not a rebuild, you know, but before I did all the injectors and turbo and all that stuff. I really loved the way, you know, this truck drove. I thought it, you know, had okay power, but now it's really fun. I really like it. And I can't wait to do the suspension on this thing, you know. I can't wait to do the swap. And I'm sorry it's taking me so long. Like, I wasn't planning on it taking me this long, but there's a few things that I keep saying, you know, that I want to have in place before I do that, to make it easier for me, and hopefully to make it easier on you guys. It's just, you know, it's taking some time. We got a nice little straightaway coming up right here, so I think we should do a real quick 4th gear pull and see how fun it is. And lower it. Oh, man, that's I love that. If that doesn't excite you, there's something wrong with you. So We peaked at about 25, 26 PSI right there, so not bad. EGTs, we're right at about 1,000 or 1,100. More like 1,100, so not too hot, a little smoky, but you know, what do you expect? And you guys have no idea how much I love this thing, and I just, you know, want to keep doing things to it. You know, I want to keep building it. But you know, it's just like everybody, you know, it's either time or it's money. You know, it's hard to have both of them. You know, but we'll get there. And we are back to my favorite spot in this town. I don't know why I always come here, but oh, look at that skunk. But I always end up right here. Now we're gonna take a look at the switch real quick. Dead mouse too. You must think that it smells really bad, but I don't smell anything. Ugh. So, looks good. That's pretty much gonna be it for that upgrade, because I definitely think it's a good upgrade for these things. Now, okay, real quick before I actually end the video, little update. So I got back to the house and I checked everything again, and I actually noticed that there was a little leak. So I kind of, you know, inspected a little further, and I found a couple things. I don't know if you can see, it's actually kind of dark. Let me get my phone out. So one of the bolts holding the actual master cylinder was way loose, and when I was tightening the actual switch, I don't know if you kind of heard a little crack, and that's what that was. It was the master cylinder actually moving on that little stud. So I went ahead and tightened that up real good and snug, and then I cranked on the switch a little bit more, not too crazy, because you don't. It's a really small thread, and you don't want to snap that, because you know you'll be in a lot more trouble than what you're in right now. So I went ahead and did that, tighten up a little more, and it should be good now. And another thing worth mentioning is that Ford, I believe this recall is still active. So if you don't have it, and if you go to your dealer, Ford should actually do it for free. Now, you might not like going to the dealer, you might not like dealing with them, but the one thing that's kind of, you know, that will give you a little peace of mind is that if they do it and this truck fails and catches on fire because of that, the liability will be on them and not on you. So they got to pay for your truck for whatever damages happened. So in this aspect, you know, it might be worth it to actually go to the dealer and have them fix it. Now, don't quote me, because I'm not 100% sure if the recall is still active, but I believe it should be. It's at least worth asking them if it is. Because again, like I said, this is a very serious recall, and you want to make sure that it gets fixed right. So I would actually consider first asking them before, you know, you do it yourself. Again, like I said, because it'll give you that extra little insurance that if anything happens, it'll be on them and not on you. So anyways, back to the outro. Okay, sorry, one more thing. I actually just got back from the second test drive, checked everything, and everything's nice and dry, looking good. And that's another thing that I kind of suggest you guys do is make sure you look under your hood, you know, every now and then again, and make sure that thing's not leaking. You know, I think it's something that I'm gonna start doing now, especially because that I know that I did this now, so I want to make sure that everything's good. So at least after every drive for the first, you know, few hundred miles, I'm gonna check it and make sure that it's good, because you know I don't want to risk it. And second thing I was gonna say, I just forgot it. What was it? Oh, I just remembered. Actually, the brake pedal feel is a little bit nicer and it's a little bit firmer, and I think that was because of that nut that was loose on the brake cylinder, master cylinder, which is, you know, another plus. So make sure that while you're doing this, you know, check all those bolts, make sure that everything's nice and tight. I have no idea why that was loose, but I'm glad that I caught it. I'm glad that it's nice and tight now, and that it feels better. Now, anyways, back to the outro. I want to ask you guys for help. You know, I love making these videos. I love doing this for you guys, but
I'm at a point where I'm kind of out of creativity. And a lot of YouTubers go through this, you know. You go through a, you know, through a YouTuber's block. I don't know. But anyways, let me know what you guys think I should do to this truck. You know, let me know what you guys want to see in the channel done to this thing, and I'll do my best to do it. Like I said, I already have the 05 and up axle upgrade going on this thing. It's gonna get completely painted interior. But let me know things that you think I'm missing that you would like to see done to a 7.3 OBS, and like I said, I'll do my best to do it for you guys. And other than that, it's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Again, I can't stress this enough. Make sure you check under your hood, make sure that everything looks good in there, and replace that switch if you don't have the right one. Thanks again. Leave a like, leave any comments, leave suggestions for things you want to see done to this truck, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.